It's time for another edition of West Michigan Stories.
Tonight we are making a stop in Sparta. Of course, that's where we find Fox 17's Kevin Craig with some very interesting finds out there, including a connection to the silver screen. Kevin.
Hey, thanks, guys. We are live in Sparta. I really feel at home here. I worked on cars all of my life. We're at Legend Restorations in Sparta, and here's the owner, Tim Lennon, just like John Lennon, except only one N.
Hello.
Hey, Tim, you've got a 1947 Lincoln Continental. Kind of reminds me of a gangster's car. Tell me a little bit about this.
Oh, yes, definitely. Kevin, well, I'll tell you, people think all the innovative things were done now, all these great wild things. Well, look, 1947, push button, just open your door. Push button inside, open the door from inside. Those are fairly unique, and you'd think they're going to come up with something like that today and take credit for it. They can't, because there it is.
Gotcha. And a lot of the piece that we're going to hear about in just a second is about Tim. Ben, if you could pan over this, look at these great big, wide, thick white walls. I'm surprised they even see these anymore, but these were almost standard, I want to say, on the old cars. But it's great to see that now, Tim.
That's for sure, definitely. You'd see that running around a lot, especially on a car like this that was expensive. The owners did have people that take care of their cars and take care of these white walls, because there were a lot of dirt roads back then, so the average cars just didn't get the white walls, but cars like this certainly had them.
All right, listen, we're going to show you Tim's high school car, which he still has, but first, take a listen to his connection to Hollywood. You might not expect it in Sparta, but we found a connection to Hollywood. Tim Lennon and his company Legend Restorations has been restoring cars since 1997.
This car is just at the very beginning of its process of removing all the parts, disassembling the frame, all of the different processes that go into it, repairing the damage. The car itself is actually in pretty good shape overall.
The work will take about 6 months for its owner in Haiti and is one of several ongoing projects.
After we chemically strip them down by hand to do them correctly and get our primer on, then we hit them with the DA with some 80 grit on it to get it really nice and smooth, the steel.
Tim has restored cars from this rare yellow 1970 GSX Buick to this 57 black Seville for a client in Australia. And don't forget this 1966 Shelby GT350. Only 11 such cars were made and not sold to the public.
And sometimes these cars come in that are old. Of course, the bolts are frozen, and we have to heat them with a torch or cut them off.
Before custom paint can be sprayed, the metal is cleaned and ready for an almost glue-type epoxy primer.
That'll go down over the metal and really seal it in really super tight so that you can't get oxygen back down to it to reactivate any of the steel. That's the trick right there from the beginning.
The boys and I are on an adventure.
Perhaps one of his best-known restoration jobs was on a 1953 Cadillac El Dorado for the movie My One and Only.
They took an old bank, went in there and painted all those colors, put the Cadillac insignias and stuff on the walls. All the set dressers came in, staged the cars. They took a great big glass window out that is to the left and brought the cars in and put the glass back in and put Cadillac on it and shot the scenes.
Tim was flown to Albuquerque, New Mexico and was on set for many of the takes involving the car.
I flew out there. They treated me great. They put me on the closed set with the stars. I got to stand right next to Renee Zellweger and talk to her and eat cheese and chocolate in between takes.
Timing is everything in show business, and as fate would have it, his early start at the breakfast table one morning brought an unexpected surprise.
And I'm having my oatmeal, which was fantastic, and out comes Renee Zellweger early and says, Tim, what are you having? I said, I'm having oatmeal. Well, I'm going to have it too. And I end up sharing a breakfast with her, just her and I talking about running.
While the car used in the movie was owned by someone else, it was originally purchased by a farmer in 1953 from Pellston.
He took his money that he'd saved up and went down and bought this very expensive car. Those were $7,200 in 1953 new for those Cadillacs, those El Dorados. So that car actually has ties to Michigan.
Speaking of the movies, remember Stephen King's Thriller in 1983 where the car comes to life?
If you've ever seen the movie Christine, the 1958 Plymouth that was the killer car, this is not the movie car, but it is the exact same car as the one in the movie. It's my car. I'm planning on totally finishing it up, but this is a 58 Plymouth.
And here we are back live in Sparta at Legend Restorations. Here's the car that you've seen in the piece. They got a little bit farther on this one, but they still got a ton of work to do as Ben kind of zooms in on the interior there. You can see that's all pretty much blank and empty. They got a lot left to do on that. Tim Lennon, the owner of Legend Restorations, this was your high school car. This is the 1976 Grand Prix. Tell me about this one.
Yes, this is the car that I want to keep for as long as I can. It's my baby from 17 years old. This is it, untouched just like it is, but it sits in the shop with me, and I try to take care of it, but I want to get it back on the road. But this is it, my 17-year-old
Tim, I had a couple of muscle cars in my life. One was a 71 Cutlass Sport that I painted 3 different times. I had a 79 Pontiac Trans Am, like the Burt Reynolds edition, except mine was in dark blue with the gold bird. And then I had a 1980 bubble back in dark blue Corvette. Those are all gone now. I'm a family man. It doesn't mean you still can't have fun, but this was a blast doing this story because I worked on cars all of my life. And by the way, if you want more information on Legend Restorations and this guy here, simply go to fox17online.com. Look for the West Michigan story there. I've got his link right in our link at Fox 17. Hope you enjoyed it. I had a blast reporting live in Sparta. I'm Kevin Craig, Fox 17 News. Christian, Michelle?